Good morning, I'm Lindsay.
And I'm Chris.
And welcome to Conjunction Gardens. I'm going to start off here at the beginning of the garden. All the way down we have keystones. So here we have two different circles, one on the outside and one on the inside. A lot of it has been harvested already. These ones were onions on the inside, beets on the outside. And we've put down straw this year because we're going from a monoculture crop type situation with bare soil to a permaculture garden. So we took the root stout method and we've laid down straw between the keystones. Sunflowers grow prolifically around here. So what we've done with the bottom ones is we've just broken off the lower leaves to allow sunlight in. But we're still utilizing the benefit of having some companion planting there. This is main line here. And we've got rows going this way. And we've got cucumbers and eggplants. We've pulled all the peppers that were here, and we have tobacco as well. And we've got an auto watering system connected to our rain barrels up at the house that go underground to piping that we can turn on. And it's trench irrigated so that they just soak down into the ground as we've got a slight decline down towards the lake. We had lettuces here, we have radish, daikon, carrots, more onions, more beets, more Swiss chard. The whole front of the garden is lined with wildflowers. So over here we have future plans for a greenhouse. Creating a little microclimate here for a great kiwi. This is the hottest part of the garden. It gets a lot of sunlight and a lot of heat. And we've got a lot of wild boar poo right now. We've got a wild boar on the property. Right now, the county is giving you $75 a head if you shoot them, and you get to eat the pig too.
That's great.
Man digs hole. We were going to do a passive solar dome, but we've decided to change the construction of the greenhouse to a passive solar design. Man will still dig hole. We got our potato patch over here. All in here was tomatoes and peppers, so we built these from the hemp that we let winter rot over winter, and we utilized the hemp stalks for stakes for the whole garden, which is awesome because we needed hundreds of them for all the trellis. And they work quite good at pointing out where the plants are. We still have some peppers growing. Here they are. Some jalapenos. We're going to be making some salsa today with all the tomatoes. Got some peaches and cream corn that we harvested yesterday. All of this used to be lentils, but they've already been pulled. We've got redhead quinoa. It's so heavy, it's just falling right over. Yeah, the color is just beautiful. Here we have buckwheat. So it's ready to harvest, and we'll cut it at the bottom and shake it out. And the leaves on the buckwheat are quite edible too when they're younger. Kind of like a spinach. This is a tetrahydrant. This is our irrigation beauty. We didn't have to use irrigation so much this year because of all the straw, which is super awesome. But this thing has a huge gun and it just shoots way out into the hemp field. Coming to amazing.
All right.
Bottom half of the field is all hemp. We're doing a strain called Vega. It's a dual cropping strain. So lots of fiber and really tasty grain. This opens up and lines up with the solstice. Chris made what would you call
An
it?
amulet. A portal opener.
Portal opener to line up with solstice, which it did. And we were able to stand here and watch and peer at that golden sun come shining right through. Magical.
That's pretty fun. Colors are just amazing today.
And you can see we've taken all this down. We're lovingly lopping the tops off by hand, drying them, shaking them out, and then putting it through the seed separator. So here's the bottom of the field. We've tried a whole bunch of different ways of growing the hemp, different ways to lop the top off, cutting it off, bending it, seeing if we can get the plant to create more colas full of grain for us. We've tried different irrigation techniques. So we have some that are heavily irrigated, some that are dry land, and some that are what else for irrigation? Sprinklered.
Heavy irrigation, flood irrigation.
Yeah, and we have our own super fluid that we're experimenting with, so we've put the super fluid on some areas. Down here we've dug some swale for the irrigation to run down the trench and then come fill this at the bottom if the irrigation's full enough to fill these trenches, and then we're interplanting them with mulberry. We got some little mulberries over here.
And in there.
These trees here are going to be dying, so we've already replaced them with some baby mulberries and then some
See buckthorns.
to ward off the deer because they don't seem to like that too much. Here you can see the trench coming all the way down. This is Berry Lane.
And it shoots off into the swales and fills them.
So a deer has come and lopped off a lot of the leaves for us, but that should actually strengthen the plant in the long run.
That's the one that didn't make it. Aronia berry.
Yeah, a lot of them are quite happy though. And we've got a clover base. You can see some of the clover coming through as well as tobacco.
For ground cover?
For ground cover, yep. Nitrogen fixing. It's some beautiful tobacco. It's got nice, beautiful pink flowers. We have a few different types of tobacco on the farm.
And 3 different colors of clover.
Yeah, it goes from white to red to yellow. And we plan on adding a lot more clover addition for next year for the pollinators and for our feet. It's quite nice to walk on.
Yeah, it's better than thistles. These are the sand cherries.
Just chewed right up. Yeah, we're gonna have to have.
This is a black currant. But they leave like 3 or 4 leaves, which is real nice of them.
The entrance to Berry Lane.
With blackberry, that might be out of our climate, but we're going to try it anyways. It did really well this year. So, see how it winters.
This is like our hemp Christmas tree. A lot of the hemp grew this way. It's just massive. So we've extended the berries to come up here. Eventually this will have a greenhouse in here and we'll have Nice warm microclimates. We have plans for a pond as well that we'll be able to trench irrigate downhill with. So we've got silverberry, and raspberry, and blueberry. Then we gotta go back to the house. We have broom corn. So come Halloween time, we'll make some brooms. All through here was peas. And I actually saw this morning that they're still giving.
Oh yeah?
Yeah,
So you had a bean this morning.
yeah, I had
Well, there's a
this
pea.
morning. Peas.
October 1st. Who would have thunk it?
So this is the medicine garden. We've got perennial medicine growing. We're stinging nettles, St. John's wort, mullein, chrysanthemum, peppermint, borage, lots of pollinators, love over here with the borage. And the calendula is just getting more big and more beautiful as the fall develops. More chrysanthemum. We had to wish for water because we found through doing the design that the septic was actually in the field itself. So we used Grandpa Zier's rods to find the septic. And on top of here, my friend Ayla built a labyrinth, which has grown over quite a lot. But in the spring, we'll be able to put down trampolines and we'll see that stone pattern come back again. This is the herb garden where we had basil and dill and chamomile and cilantro, lavender, more mullein. And you can kind of still see the circle outlines, but we've allowed it to grow over. We maintained it a lot in the spring as the plants were young, but as things became more established, we just let the plants do what they want to do. They actually held a lot of the moisture in the ground.
So you let the weeds grow?
We did! We found out actually that we have over 30 so-called weeds, our natural medicine that grows on the land that we'll be creating a book about, and we'll tell you all about the medicine that grows naturally on this land. This is a larger vegetable circle. We have some patty pans still growing, some yellow zucchini. We have beans here with trellis around them, purple carrots. And then from here all the way down are these squash circles, the three sisters that we've planted. So there's a circle with a mound. We've got corn in the center, beans that grew up around the corn, and then squash all around the base. We have 12 different varieties of squash we planted this year. And they're still growing. Trying to look for a little one. Here's some. This is a mashed potato squash. This is beautiful. Yeah. And then we can go over to the combine shed.
All right.
We're going to build a lean-to here. Put all our cedar equipment, storage for the quad. Well, you can see there from seeding before, look at, we've got fresh sprouts.
Oh yeah.
That's awesome.
Full on mat. Great.
We've got to do something with our compost, but that'll be next year. For now, it's just become a dumping ground. So this is where we've been bringing the hemp to dry. Since we're doing an experiment with all the different growing ways that we could manifest, we've been separating each row of the hemp and weighing the grain to see the results of our experiments. So we have a whole bunch of racks up here. And then we've got grates that we weave the hemp through. You can see this one's still hanging, drying. And then after it's dried, we bang it out and run it through the seed cleaner.
Go for a bike ride.
Which we've, as you can see, modified. Used to be a hand crank on here. Turned it into a bicycle crank. And we've just recently upgraded to an actual motor.
Exciting, eh?
And there you can see in the back of the truck some hemp that we pulled off the field yesterday. This is the Royal Garden, so we have our strawberries in here protected from the birds, and grew a lot of herbs. We had some volunteer squash plant itself, and that's more than mashed potatoes. And this is our perennial asparagus bed, which actually is still even giving us asparagus into October. We have tomatoes up here, a tomato train that we grew inside and moved outside in the spring, and it's still producing as well. Underneath the deck here, we've got the worm bin. Yep. There's a lot of worms in there. It looks like they could have some more food. We're going to have to divide these guys. But we've been utilizing this. We spray it down and we get the worm castings in the bottom. And then we dilute that and put that on the berries, and that's our fertilizer. We've moved a whole bunch of raspberries. We got horseradish out here and raspberries lining the side of the house. Future plans? Mushroom garden. We actually tapped the maples this year. Probably do a little bit more of that next year, tapping the maples, running the lines together.
There's the hole.
And in here I'd like to get some poplar chips down and put in some perennial mushroom beds, low-laying areas. So that's us. Thanks for watching.